New episode CYA. I'm leading the show off. You know why? LP's not here. And when LP's not here, we have a good time. So with me being the lead of the show, we're gonna have a good time today, y'all. So I'm done, P, of course.
Well, you looking like Martin on that episode. Nino Brown.
I just got off work. So I'm sorry I look like Nino Brown, but it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Who we got?
Oh, JC is here. I'm here filling in as a fourth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just listen and learn, and I may ask some questions, but I'm here. JC's here.
Brian.
All right. Well, hey, I will mention the fact that people have told me, do you only handle work injury cases? We handle all types of cases. If you're injured, we're able to help you out almost 9 times out of 10. If not, then we'll make sure you find out who it is that may be able to help you. But anything from brain injuries, truck wrecks, premises cases, as well as work injury, that's what our focus is. You can find me, Brian Crockett Law Firm. And that said, we have the amazing Simone.
Hey, y'all. So I'm attorney Simone Redwine. My YouTube channel is called Girl, Is That Legal? Make sure you check me out there. Why are you giggling?
Girl with a comma, is that legal?
Correct.
I love how you say
I
it.
like that.
Girl, is that legal?
With a question mark?
With a question mark and exclamation point, both of them together
You so-
consecutively.
You got that energy, Simone. You got
I
that
do.
energy.
You know, it's been quite the day. And then I got a little brown going down in here.
Okay,
Brown going down.
Sizzle in there. But yes, I handle accident and injury cases throughout the nation. So you can reach me at 855-4-SIMONE. I'm also going to be rolling out, it is a new course. I have a digital download that I'm going to have on how to do background checks.
Okay.
As well as a digital course that I'm going to teach you. So there will be no more Reese's.
Okay.
There will be no more Simone red wines.
Mm.
And maybe some of us won't end up like Rachel Lindsay either. Bless her heart. We're going to talk about her and her
Yeah,
divorce a
we will.
little bit
We
later.
will. Uh-huh.
Got to do those background checks on these men.
So either you never been on the criminal side of law?
I have.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that?
So I used to do a bunch of expungements. I do a few. I do some of them now. Some of those criminals were very handsome, and I didn't like that.
I used to work in bail bonds during the pandemic.
Oh,
You did?
wow.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
you were rich.
I was
your
getting
boss?
paid.
Okay, maybe you're a boss.
So
right?
I didn't know. I was really helping because this was a friend of the family.
Okay.
So I was like just doing admin stuff. But like every time we would make a bond, and it was one of them big bonds. Like I'm like, hey, it ain't payday. He's like, no, this is when you do this. A big one?
Very
it's payday on the spot.
Oh,
for
that's
real?
fantastic. Yes.
The wrong business. I need to
Yeah.
take this shit off.
I mean, it's good money.
I may be I think that's universal. I think people know
Introduce me
that.
to your family friend, because let me tell y'all, you always want to have a bail bonds friend, because when Christmas time comes, they've got all kind of miscellaneous shit at their house. They're gonna have fur coats.
Yep.
Might be a boat in the backyard.
Yep.
Because all of that stuff is collateral, right?
Oh,
if you don't
for
have
real.
cash, those things, they're gonna have an old school in their yard. All of those things, because that's what people will put up when they're trying to get their loved one out or themselves.
Or what we had to deal with, if it was like a serious case, you had to do like either pay all the way up or collect some type of collateral. They need your information. They need
Real
something.
estate.
Real estate.
Mhm.
They
Wow.
need something. Like if you done got a body, if you something like that, they need it all
Yep.
because they gotta
Shake it down.
protect.
We in the wrong line of business. We need
Nah,
to
you don't want to
quit
be
this
over there, bro.
podcast
That shit is
Huh?
stressful, bro.
I'm seeing Phil's eyes just like thinking this out. He's
Nah,
calculating it.
you don't
He's
wanna-
like, I can
you
have some
getting
food
Meanwhile,
calls
he
from
looks like
jail
he about
all
to catch
day.
a RICO charge right
You getting
now.
calls from jail all day. Hey, can you call my mama? Cause my auntie, she the one that's like, bro, you got to deal with these dudes
Hey,
all
man,
day.
fuck getting
That's why that
the
contract says
girlfriend-
every call that comes in, $100.
real, huh?
The girlfriend, the baby mama, don't know the little girlfriends coming in to bail him out. Then you got to deal with that,
For real.
and you don't know what's going on.
You ever
It's
have
crazy.
them tussle in the parking lot?
No, but this one lady like looked at me crazy, like, so she paid. I'm like, look, I don't know who this woman is.
Oh, because they don't know.
They don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I think the big question, though, is do you think it's accurate, though? Simone said there could be some attractive-looking people that maybe need to get bonded out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
You had
It-
any pretty
it'd be
girls
like
come
that.
through there?
they was the prostitutes.
Oh,
you know.
She didn't
okay,
ask you
so they
that. She
look
said
more
pretty
out.
girls.
Yeah, but you gotta
Look at
factor
Boy.
that in, like
True,
you know.
true. Yeah,
nah.
Look at you being all wholesome.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's,
but
that's
it
probably
be, they
right.
be that, but it's just like,
poor horseman bail bonds.
Yeah. No, I had one client. I was like, "Sir, you are clearly not good at being a criminal. You
Really?
should probably sell dick because
Had
you
one
are
girl
very
scamming.
handsome."
One girl scamming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he had these eyelashes. They were so gorgeous. I was like, "What do
Really?
you use? Castor oil?"
The other
But-
thing I will say is that it'd be a lot of those dudes that be just in a bad situation, and they be good people.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, damn, that's fucked up.
Wasn't it one guy, and we're gonna get back on track, but wasn't it one guy who was he was in prison and he turned into an actor or model?
Yes, it was Prison Bay.
Yeah.
Is what they called
the
him.
prison guy.
He's a light-skinned black guy with like blue eyes and stuff like that. He got with this below average looking Caucasian heiress to a billionaire fortune. And they were together for a while.
Yep.
So that was very
They
convenient.
not together
for her.
no more?
No, they broke up.
Damn.
I think that's
You
why
know
you don't
what?
want a man to get a job
I
like
think
that.
it was something like that where he got with her, and then like that's when he stepped up. They got him in like the Balenciaga stuff.
all of the
and-
above.
Yeah, all that.
And then once he did that, he said, I don't want you
Yeah.
to live below average stuff. I'm going to get me. Because she was about a 4.5
yeah, she was trash.
on a rainy
For
day.
real?
And then now he's over here, he's like 11.2 minus the felony. And so he's over here trying to get his equal, bless his heart.
All right, let's reel it back in, y'all. So
Okay.
the biggest thing going on, or that has been going on for the past, I'll say 2-3 weeks, is the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. Okay, we discussed it on the Poor Horseman show, but we wanted to discuss it with our attorneys that we have on hand. So, Simone, I'll start with you. Give me a rundown of what legal side of this battle is going on.
Sure. So there's two main things that people have been talking about on the legal side. One is, can either party sue for defamation? Or two, are there any copyright infringement issues going on due to the fact that many of Kendrick's best bars, they say, were stolen from tweets from his followers? So let's start on that one. So one of my favorite bars is the line where he says Drake's favorite chord is A minor, right? As in a minor, a child, because he's calling him a pedo. Well, there's a number of, I think there's like 5 or 6 tweets that are like that.
Okay.
And so many of the fans are saying that Kendrick should run those fans who made those tweets their coins. What do you think?
The actual bar that they tweeted out?
Yeah, the
He used
people
that?
who, he used
Yeah.
it word for word.
Yeah, it
Word
was like
for word.
4 or 5 tweets from like 5 different people. I seen it myself.
Yep.
He used those bars in his song, like, and they're major bars in the song. Of course, you know the minor part that she just said. That's
Now, can they sue, or does Twitter or X? Because they
Great question. So that is the threshold question, is who has the right? And the answer is the individual writers do, because what happens is Twitter, part of the license agreement with Twitter, X, is that they have the right to basically post whatever you're writing. But ultimately, it is the writer of whatever you write, the moment you write it, it's technically copywritten. If you want to sue on it, that's when something must be filed with the Copyright Office.
wow.
But I just want to be clear. You don't in order for something to be copyrighted, it just needs to be original artwork published.
Brian,
do you think?
I got a question for you.
Yeah,
real
I
quick.
just want to
Go ahead.
highlight one piece on that, though, which, there's always a fight over, hey, am I ever going to pay you anything? And generally speaking, nobody's going to do something for free unless you have a really great case. But what I just would highlight with it is, whenever you put really great things, like you're super creative and you put it out there on Instagram or you put it out on tweets, there is an argument you're giving it away, and the problem with that is it's going to be, well, did you really intend to do it or did you not intend to do it? And if I'm defending against it, I'm going to say, hey, you just put this out in the public. You didn't copyright it. This was just your thoughts. And hey, I'm going to utilize it. You gave it to me. And so you'll see cases a lot of times where people have discussed things that are in groups or these kind of private groups or societies or whatever. And then they go on and use that information for their own benefit. And then somebody tries to come back and sue them for it. And they said, well, you put it out in the group. So I'm going to continue to use it. And then I can teach other people this, and you can't sue me for the knowledge I've gained.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was this guy that's on Twitter, and he's on Instagram as well. His name is Justin LeBoy. He's known for stealing people's tweets, and they end up going viral. So he'll take your tweet, he'll tweet it
Mhm.
because of his popularity and fame, especially with women, and it'll go viral. Is there a way for you?
There ain't no money attached to it.
No, and
Okay.
here's the difference between that and the potential of, with Kendrick Lamar. The difference is Kendrick Lamar has monetized it by making it a song that's now on Spotify, that's now earning
If
money.
he sold a goddamn poem with all these
that
stuff,
would be different.
Then,
If he took the tweet and he were to like put it on a t-shirt or something like that, that could be different. But the ultimate issue with tweets is that to be copyright protected, one, it has to be original, which these are.
Okay.
But the second thing is it has to be more than just a word or a short phrase.
Okay.
These are short phrases.
Yeah.
Now, short phrase is not defined by any specific number of characters, but like the phrase, Drake's favorite chord is A minor, that's a sentence. That's a short phrase. And so I think both in that case and Justin LaBoy's issue is he's going to be able to continue doing it because it's not long enough generally to be protected.
Okay. So Drake and Kendrick are throwing these shots at each other, going at each other's wife, the wife, right? He's saying that he's a pedo. And these are serious allegations, right? Can they file for defamation of character with those shots? And because it's being monetized, right?
Yeah, it is.
So,
it is.
So
it'll just be a back and forth because they both said stuff.
Yeah, it would be so can they or should they are two different questions, obviously.
Okay.
Should they? Hell no. That would be like the wackest thing ever, right? But could they? Part of it is the issue of should it be taken seriously, right? And is this an artistic expression or is this an actual allegation?
Okay.
And so what we have here is it would be difficult. The defense that I would use on either side is this was just me being creative in a song. Because songs don't have to be true. We all know this, even if it's about a specific person.
Okay.
But then the second thing is Drake went out and he publicly said that he had people on his side feeding Kendrick lies, such as the fact that he had an 11-year-old. How defamation works is even if something is a lie, if you if you did an investigation to see and make due diligence steps to see if something is true, and then you say it, you're protected, even if it's a lie. Here, because Drake fed him a lie and he repeated it, Drake could never claim defamation. Because they did the due diligence Drake wanted. Literally, if Drake gives you the lie and you repeat it, Drake doesn't get to be like, ha ha ha, it was a lie, give me $1 million. No, because it wasn't negligent. So if it's negligent when you report it back, right, that's one thing. But it's not negligent if I'm relying on the actual person who lied to me.
Now, a key point on that, though, is it's called republishing the defamatory or the I'm skipping my thought here, but
Defamatory statement?
Libel.
Libel.
And the big thing for you to remember is that due diligence is also who's the due diligence that you're getting the information from. So if you know this person, somebody constantly lies or makes things up, and then you go, hey, I'm going to go and republish
like Tasha K.
Okay.
But I think, hey, since they've told it to me and it's reliable, then I'm going to republish it. And then I'm going to say, oh, it's not my fault. Well, if you already know and it can be proven this person's a known liar, they're going to put all the things out that's fake, then you can be liable for republishing that same story that came from an unreliable source.
Wow, that's
just because they went on, or you said Tasha K, they went on her platform to talk, but just because she published it, it's on her too.
It's on her too, but now that we know Tasha K is a liar, right? Because that's why she got to pay Cardi B $4 million. If you go back reporting what Tasha K is saying, and you don't say Tasha K has reported such and such, and remind people like, so allegedly such and such and such, you have to do that because we now know Tasha K is a liar. Otherwise, you can be in as much trouble as Tasha will be.
Damn.
What's up with Tasha K? Why does she risk so much?
Because the reward was she felt the reward was so strong. Let's think about this. She only had, and it's not even she had about 200,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube when she started, actually 180K, when she started telling the lies about Cardi B. She's now got over 1 million. For her, the 800,000 new subscribers were worth it.
Yeah.
Were they?
Think about it. Academics did it with the War on Chirac, but that's different.
Yeah.
But it's just like just the clout behind it, the likes. Like she read a comment somewhere, or she talked to somebody that know of Cardi B's cousin or whatever, and got some information, like, and just threw it out there to see what it was going to do, and then just kept rolling with the story and the details around the story, just like what Act did about the Chicago shit. He heard some shit, reading up, listening to music, and then he just kept, because the numbers are good.
Yeah.
Let's say you were defending Tasha K. Are you familiar with Tasha K with the line stuff?
Only the Cardi B line. Since she lost the case, I'm
It was what she lied and said is that Cardi B had STDs and that she did drugs.
So your other big thing is there's a defamation or libel per se. And basically what that means is if you say somebody's involved in a criminal act or something that would be immoral, like having STDs or whatever, then that in and of itself, all you need to do is show that they've said it or written it. And in and of itself, it's considered libel or slander if it's not true.
Yeah, you don't even have to prove the amount of damages. Usually you do.
Right.
But
if I say someone's gay, is that like
that's a great question. I think if they're not, then that is defamatory.
Because this happened back in the day when Whitney Williams went and said that he gay.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Go both ways, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He got her fired.
Oh, really?
You ain't know that?
No. Teach me.
If I'm not mistaken, he got her like replaced or removed or whatever. And she, she went to Williams. She was, she's.
So we're gonna go with they allegedly had this happen.
Yeah, allegedly.
Because otherwise, JC started his own.
I mean, I know.
But regardless of if she got fired or not, she was the first one to put that out there.
Got you.
Like back in the early 2000s.
So someone DM me that I do crack, and is that?
Absolutely, yes. I actually got sued for that.
Except they've only given it to you. They've only told you.
I got sued for that. So I said that my boss was a crackhead, but really he did cocaine. And I put it in a Google review after I left the firm.
Oh,
and
what?
So it's true. I mean,
true?
The cocaine was true. It wasn't crack. And he sued me, and I pulled up. I was like, "Well, this is your mugshot." And he was like, "It was cocaine." I was like, "Okay, cocaine." I said,
different.
I think your clients want to know because this is why you keep missing statutes of limitations, jerk." So yeah, crack and cocaine, it's a difference.
That's very.
So you do have an opportunity though
but they're both defamatory.
After somebody says you've committed, you have to give them a notice letter to say, "Hey, this isn't true," and you have to give them an opportunity to correct it.
Yep.
And so, if you find yourself in that situation, update the review.
Yeah, I mean, like, my apologies. It wasn't crack. It was cocaine.
And then you're good.
And then I'm good. Literally, it's fine. Okie dokie, you're good.
Hey, man.
Some people have ego around it and they just
yeah, they don't. They don't. Yeah.
You also got to remember though, one of the biggest things is you have to prove that it hurt your reputation. And so if in fact they go, "Hey, they've said all these horrible things about me, but all my fans still love me. Nobody actually believes what you're saying." It's hard for you to prove damage.
That is why Blac Chyna lost her lawsuit against the Kardashians. Because although the allegations against her were bad and were untrue, etc., the problem was financially she couldn't show any losses. In fact, from year to year, she made more money each year. So that ultimately is why she lost.
What about like, and I'm just going off the top of my head, like revenge porn? Like
you ever did it?
No. Absolutely not. No.
It's like no one posts me ever.
But like revenge porn, like how is that type of case handled? I know it's dependent upon the situation, but if someone puts something out there about you that you didn't approve of, how does that go?
Now it's becoming felonies. So the gist of it is you can pursue it in criminal court and you can pursue it in civil court. And I recommend doing both. What's cool about the criminal court is when you go to criminal court and it gets pursued, the prosecutor will actually ask you, how much were you damaged? So for example, if you went to therapy because this happened to you, you could come up with a dollar amount and say, I want this. And then in order for them to be able to take their plea and, get off bail or bond or whatever, they're going to have to be on a payment plan to pay you your money either upfront or on a payment plan, and either do the probation or do whatever time is assigned. So the answer is, yeah, it can be both. Every state's a little bit different. Don't do it. Don't do it.
While we talk,
Or you got to pay restitution.
That's what it's called. Thank you.
Restitution.
while we talk, I'm trying to frame this question, but like, and I just seen this, and I knew I was going to be coming here, so I wanted to ask y'all. So you have these lawyers that take specific cases from specific people. Like if it was, if you're trying to do a civil suit and you, with the academics thing, the girl is suing him for rape and something else.
Okay.
She went and got, what's the guy named
Blackburn.
Yeah.
Tyrone Blackburn.
Yeah. So he's the guy that does the civil suits for people but it'd be like outrageous claims. My question is, does that hold credence in the courtroom with the jury and the judge? Like, if they keep seeing this guy and do they look at that and be like, man, here you go with another money grab, or
Brian, what
is it like credible?
So it really comes down to, what is the insurance carrier's past history of potentially paying this person out, or what's their experience on getting a big result?
Because I think his question is, though, after that part,
it's
like
the
if
same
it goes to
guy
the
that
jury.
did the
Because
Diddy thing.
This is the one
that's
that
proving that you have the chance to win, and so your likelihood of getting the settlement amount where you've gotten a jury to give you a huge number is much higher if you've already done it before. If you're saying, hey, I'm just going to hire somebody who's not nationally known for it, you may or may not, they may not have all of the skeletons in the closet that they're aware of in past cases, but at the same time, if it's a totally new client, totally new situation, I mean, they're starting from, ground zero as well.
So, but I think when it comes to a jury, it depends on how well the jury knows him. So, for example, if Johnny Cochran were to walk into a courtroom in front of the jury, people are going to, first of all, some people may want to be on the jury just because it's Johnny Cochran. They're going to be like, oh, it's showtime. What's he over here talking about?
And it's something racial, because that's what he's known for.
That is what he's known for. Or representing like wealthy athletes, things like that. So if they see him, you're going to have both. You're going to have some people on the jury who are going to be like, if Johnny's there, that person is probably innocent. And you're going to have others be like, they did it. It's Johnny. So usually when you have a super famous attorney like that, it's polarizing on one side or the other. It's usually not even. But when you have someone like him, by him, I mean Blackburn. Blackburn represents right now Little Rod, as well as
the guy,
the Diddy thing.
who is suing Diddy. And has all those salacious allegations, as well as a female who was part of the yacht staff on one of the yacht parties that Diddy had. And a third.
And now the young lady with academics.
And the young lady suing academics as well. And so, but the issue with him is he doesn't actually have any big jury verdicts that we know about.
So someone like Ben Crump.
He's this new race guy.
He doesn't go to trial.
Oh, he does.
He does not.
He just goes on TV.
And y'all always laugh at me. My clients, one of my clients work with him, and he was saying that, like, man, he don't be in court like that. And they really don't respect that shit.
But that makes sense, because if you hear him say ambulance, the ambulance, those aren't. That's generally like ambulance.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. Love you, Mr. Crump.
Yeah.
Makes me want to call him.
He's a television orator, and I want to be clear. Like, that is very important, because in conjunction with litigators, they do the work to get the charges placed in the first place. Okay. What was the gentleman that was running? That was shot while running. Oh my gosh, the black boy. That's a perfect example.
Yeah. He was shot while running. Someone looked that up.
But that's a perfect example of, we would have never gotten the charges but for attorneys that were able to get the media press and coverage there. So, Ahmaud Arbery. Thank you. So, that's one example of how they work together. But what I was going to say, but yes, an example of it, like if Mr. Crump walks into a courtroom, if there are racist people on the jury, they're going to be like, oh, it's Mr. Crump. But then if there are some black people who see him as one that gives justice, they're going to be like, oh, they done did some effed up stuff behind the scenes. So it varies.
I seen them just pose a picture with Reggie Bush. So I don't know what he had going with Reggie Bush getting his Heisman Trophy back. I seen him post a picture, so I don't know what happened in that situation.
Okay.
Probably sued the NCAA.
Probably.
get that boy his stuff.
Probably. All right. So congratulations to Miss Africa O's.
O's, that's right, Miss O's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about Miss O's.
So Miss O's this is exciting. She's graduating from Fordham University in New York City with her law degree, and she already has employment lined up as an attorney, and she is a former felon. She was incarcerated for a number of years. I believe it was some scamming type of white collar type of things.
Okay.
But what we want to really highlight is, of course, we can all redeem ourselves, but most importantly, just because you're a felon does not mean you cannot become an attorney.
That's the best thing to do. Coming from
That's what I'm thinking.
all the man, you know how many?
Color.
I know you know some felons.
But
All them dudes know. Well, the dudes I know the law, and I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, why don't you do something with that?
And I'm telling you, I literally have been in so many arguments with armchair lawyers who will tell me, you can't become a lawyer. You cannot become a lawyer if you have a felony. And I'm like, says who? Show it to me. Point it out. They were like, no, you can't. I know because you don't know shit. Shut up and stop repeating a myth.
People just
Brian,
don't give you
are
a
you a felon?
chance.
I am not. But I will say
Okay.
there was probably reasons that I grew up like this, and so it was a little bit easier.
With
Yeah.
your tattoos? Oh, white. Grew up white. I was confused.
He thinking like, yeah.
But I would just say congratulations, Africa O's.
Yeah.
Huge success, way to believe in yourself,
Yeah.
and it does make a difference when you can, basically get up every day and say, hey, I can be anything I want to be.
So I also seen that, and we were talking about this before the show started. Someone became a judge. Also, that was a felon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's incredible. Young
Here's the
too,
thing.
pretty young.
Here's what people miss. They say you can't. First of all, stop repeating myths that you hear. When someone tells you something like that, you say, oh, can you direct me to, show me the rule that you're referring to.
Mm.
First of all, half these Negroes don't know how to read, don't like to read. Not even Negroes, all of them.
Yeah.
Call them all around the rainbow.
Right.
All of these people are just repeating something that they've heard. But more importantly, what the real issue is this. The problem becomes when you apply to law school, you have to disclose anytime you've been arrested. And what happens is a lot of people lie. They're like, oh, I don't want to tell because then they're not going to let me in their law school. No, you tell everything up front. And because the ultimate issue when you sit for the bar is moral turpitude. So if you were found to lie your way in the law school, then they're not going to want to let you take the bar. But if you're up front, what happens is the law school cannot accept you if they don't believe that you will be able to take the bar and become employed. So you will prevent yourself from all of that agony if you just disclose everything up front. And most importantly, I had a mentee who he went to prison for 2 years. I helped him with his personal statement. We made the personal statement about that. And he ended up getting a full ride to Harvard.
Wow.
So yes, baby, you can do it.
I want to ask y'all, how long did it take y'all to pass the bar? Or is that personal info?
I did it first time. I took 3 bars, Texas, New York, and New Jersey. It was the first time.
All three, you hit them all three first time?
Correct.
Oh,
what
Lord,
about
have
you,
mercy.
B?
Yeah.
Equally passed, but I did Illinois, Texas, and California.
Wow.
So any state you want to work in, you have to take the bar there?
No, what happens is a lot of states will let you waive in, but you have to have practiced at least 5 years. And at the time that I was moving states, I had only been like 3 years. So that's why I took those 3. How about you?
So I took California because they told me it's really tough, and it was during COVID. So I just wanted to see if it passed. So
Yeah.
it passed.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
You just took it?
2021.
Oh,
2021?
Part of the reason, y'all, that California is the hardest to pass, the pass rate is like in the 40% range,
Wow.
is because that's the only state that lets you take the bar without going to law school.
Right.
So if you take out the number of people who sit for the bar without going to law school, the numbers are actually equivalent with other states
Kim
like
K.
Texas. There are actually a lot of prisoners who have nothing to do because they're there for life, who will just sit around taking the California bar.
Yeah.
For fun.
Well, before
Failed the shit out
Simone
of
mentioned that, when I passed, there was only 33% passage rate.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Damn.
So that was
But you are really smart.
a whole bunch of people there that did not pass, but it was quite a money grab for the bar.
And is it the same test?
No, every state's different. It's state specific. And what's crazy is in law school, you never learn the law of your state. That's part of why it's particularly hard to pass the bar, because you're learning the law of that state literally in 2 months. In 2 months.
So,
So stupid.
What about for those Fed cases? Like, what if you're a lawyer and they want you?
That's general law. So that's federal law.
Yeah.
So they don't test you on that.
Oh, somebody can just pick you. Hey, I want this. I want you on the case, whatever high profile case. They can just choose you.
For federal law, it's the same in every state. So yes, so like I just have to waive into the federal bar of wherever your case is pending. I don't have to take a bar exam or wherever it is.
If you're licensed in any district court or federal court, you can waive into that other court.
Yep. Makes it easier.
Man, we should send LP to take that test.
Yeah, he ain't gonna study.
He's smart. Yeah. He's super smart.
There you go.
Is that how Kim K was able
That
to?
is exactly. So she passed what's called the baby bar. So because see, Kim didn't go to college.
Baby bar.
So mind you, California lets people who never went to college take the bar. It's not just didn't go to law school, it's didn't go to college. So Kim didn't go to college at all. Well, she visited a little bit, but and then she did her baby bar. And that's why it's impressive, right? Because she did the baby bar. It took her a few tries, bless her heart. And so now the next stage is she's gonna sit and try to beat this 33 and a third percent. You know.
And my guy raised it to 40. Right?
There you go. He did it. Yeah, maybe you could tutor her.
I'm good.
She's
Okay. So he's I'm good. Okay, so Rachel Lindsay. All right, the divorce. All right, Simone, this is all you right here. Tell us about it. What's going on with
Who
Rachel?
is this?
Rachel.
Who, what, when, where, why?
Yeah.
Rachel Lindsay is from Dallas, Texas. She is an attorney, and she is the first Black bachelorette.
Okay.
Okay. I've known her. I met her. We actually used to go to dance class together when we were children. So I know her family. But what's really messed up here is she met her husband on The Bachelor. So she won and she picked him, and then they got married. They got married in 2019. They've been married 4 years. He is a chiropractor. She's a lawyer. Seems like it'd be a match made in personal injury heaven. She actually was a personal injury defense attorney before going on The Bachelorette. And I know this because I was actually interviewing with the firm that she was at, considering taking a job there, but no, decided not to. And this mofo, let me tell you about this man, this little husband of hers.
Talk to us.
I don't even remember his name. I'm going to call him Mario because he reminds me of Mario from Saved by the Bell, whatever his name was.
Oh, Gomez.
Yes.
Lopez,
Slater.
my bad.
Mario Lopez. Okay, that's who he looked like.
Slater.
Anyway, this man, who's a chiropractor, this man is suing her. He says his monthly expenses are $17,000 a month, and that he only makes $1,600 a month, but that she brings in $62,000. He wants spousal support. He wants the house that they just bought for $2.1 million. He wants her to be put out the house because he said he don't have any money to be able to get his own apartment, so he wants her put out the house that she just bought, and that she needs to give him spousal support, even though they only been together for 4 years. Excuse me, how do you make only $1,600 a month as a chiropractor, sir? Brian, please explain.
He must not be a very successful one, but he's got a perfect idea that I think people could learn a lot from him. Find somebody who's above their level, and then continue to pursue that. But here's what I would say is chiropractors generally in personal injury cases are where they can run into struggles is that they are doing the treatment on a letter of protection, meaning the money is going to be coming to them, but that case usually takes anywhere from a year and a half, 2 years to come in.
That's true.
And so ultimately, he could be able to say, I'm not counting all of the liens or the accounts receivable I have ahead, and I'm actually writing it off over time, meaning I'm only making this amount, but I'm not actually showing my profit because the profit's actually on the back end a year to a year and a half later. So, for example, in personal injury cases, if Simone or I were to take a case now, we may not get paid for a year and a half to 2 years. And so it won't show up as an actual account receivable for us. But if you're a chiropractor, you can bill against that account receivable. And then ultimately you can also write it off as a loss to continue to keep your income showing very low.
Wow.
And now the excuse that he's making, he's saying the reason he needs to be taken care of. So first of all, how do y'all feel about this man trying to get spousal support? I mean, I feel like he's
I'm a supporter.
He's intentionally unemployed.
Women
He's
do
doing
it all the time.
Hold on,
do it all the time.
Okay, well, we know that was coming.
Yeah.
Didn't Mary J. Blige have this situation?
She did. She sure did. But see, the difference was at least her husband was her manager, right? So at least he was doing something of value.
Yeah, he was working.
So the excuse that Mario Rivera here, whatever his name is giving is that he left his practice, which was in Miami, to move to California to be with her.
Simone, let's be fair though.
Be fair.
Women do it quite often.
No.
Okay.
No, we don't
Talk to
quit
me.
medical practices. We don't leave medical practices to do. Why couldn't he be a little chiropractor? They got people who need their knuckles cracked and stuff in California.
That's true.
He could crack some knuckles in California.
Now-
He could work for somebody else. You don't have to create a whole new clientele. Get a job. You know what this man does every day? I looked at his Instagram. He be on there doing little personal training videos.
Is he
and
well
stuff.
within his right to pursue this?
Legally, yes.
See
Well,
what I'm
see?
saying? Why you thinking that?
There is an issue though if he's intentionally not trying to create income that he could be making.
That's my point.
And that
Now,
would
if
be
he's doing it in a sleazy way, then yeah, we gotta.
That's when they got together, he was making like $20,000 a month,
Okay.
right? So he probably actually was the breadwinner.
Okay.
But I feel like after the show, he didn't want to crack knuckles anymore. You know, he wanted to be a celebrity like she is a celebrity. But he's not interested. Don't nobody want to hear what he got to say? She has the podcast with Van Lathan, and she's on E Extra, and she's a little correspondent, and she's got stuff going on. I need Mario Rivera to get
you
a
know
job.
what? Hey, since you said all that, that is what we see all the time. That's exactly what we see.
What? What?
Women-
What
What
you
we do?
just said, how you
Quit
know
our
the women that quit your job, then you see the guy start to level up, and then now they want more. They want to be seen.
Yeah.
You see it all the time.
And that's what happened to me. That's why I'm very sensitive to this topic. Okay,
That's what happened with you.
Yeah, that's why I'm not getting married.
Oh, from
When
that
were you
dude
engaged?
I was engaged last summer.
to the dude on the show?
I met someone on my show too. So she met her fiance.
this show?
On Ready
No,
to
it was
Love.
a show called Ready
Oh
to
yeah,
Love.
yeah,
Ready to Love.
yeah.
So yeah, so it's like, you know, one goes off and the other, and it's not necessarily because I can see, you know, he got tired of cracking people's knuckles. Oh, and the other thing is, this mother sucker got $245,000 worth of student loans that he's listing as like part of the debts where he needs her financial support. Did nobody who pays that much money to go to knuckle cracking school? You could have been a real the other kind of doctor. You could have been an MD.
Okay, so Brian mentioned something I want to get to. He was saying that they could hide stuff. So I was looking at an interview that Gary Owens, the comedian, just did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was saying that his wife was asking for $44,000 a month. He's like, yo, I don't make that type of money.
Damn.
But maybe he did. Is he able to hide that? Because he's a comedian. Are there...
They do get
You
paid.
ain't get, but you ain't. Especially he's so established. Like
That's true.
You ain't trying to just get all that pocket money, like trying to do loopholes and get cash and.
But he
like
was,
OJ started doing that shit late,
right?
Like,
But you could tell he was kind of. If you see the interview he did with Shannon Sharp, you kind of see he was kind of scared to divorce his wife in the first place.
Yeah,
Because of the numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to. He was just scared.
And you know the
All the way
public, he's white, she's black, all that shit. Yeah, I get it.
He didn't want it. So this, like, what do I want to say? Hiding your funds. Is that something that goes on quite often? Like if you make a lot of money, if there's loopholes, is that's something that happens quite often, especially like in a divorce battle?
Well, I would say it happens all the time. The real question is, you run into the issue where we talked about last time, which is if you're going to have a prenup or something else and you don't disclose it, then you've got issues because now they don't know about it. Then if you do disclose all the other things, then they do know about it.
Yeah.
And so, it is find your spouse forever. Spouse, don't find the one that's going to just work out.
Sure.
Thank goodness that Simone was able to get away from Simon.
Yeah, for sure.
His name ain't Simon, but yeah. We just
I'm
go
saying,
But people hide assets, especially with the whole Bitcoin and crypto and all the other.
Bitcoin's a great way to hide them, guys.
Oh, really?
really?
Especially for drug dealers. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought Bitcoin was.
Yeah, I thought it was something.
fading
No,
away.
because you don't. Well, maybe for some, but like, especially it's unregulated. So that's why America and all the different governments were having so many problems with it. Is because any other bank, if you put in at least $10,000 or you remove $10,000 from your account, rather, then it has to be reported. The bank has to fill out its paperwork, right? Because they got to trace the cash. Bitcoin is like, no. You can do that however you want, and there's no tracing of it. So that's how come people were buying houses. When I went to Dubai, I was dating this little drug dealer, allegedly. And, he had gold teeth, so I'm pretty sure. And he had gold teeth, and he lived in an $18,000 a month apartment with no college degree. I'm like, come on, James.
She got ghosts.
But, yeah, he was very big on Bitcoin. He used Bitcoin to pay his rent and everything.
What if you wanted to? So there's no bank attached to your Bitcoin account? How do you get the liquid?
You could do anything. You could cash out the liquid in there. You could wire it. You could Western Union it. Just whatever. There's Coinbase. There's these different entities. And basically, most people just wire the money into the Bitcoin account. But the main thing is they don't have to report to the U.S. government how the money got there, from where, the tracing of those coins.
And they and these businesses, they receive this currency from big, like if I want to, like you said, rent something, they'll just take it. Dealership,
Tesla accepts Bitcoin to buy a car.
I expect Tesla to.
Yeah, we do expect that.
Yeah,
but I think Porsche does too. So multiple different entities do.
Wow.
And so now I don't know what they've internally determined is what's going to be their internal, documentation procedures, because these different companies, since they're American companies, they may say, all right, well, if someone's buying a car in Bitcoin, we're going to document who they are in X, Y, and Z. I don't know what goes on there, but I just know that Bitcoin is one of the easiest way to hide money. Mm-hmm. But when you're dealing with a divorce, actually what I recommend and what I've done with some of my friends is, here's the thing. Once you file for divorce, even before your partner is served, you guys are both under a ruling basically of the court that says you cannot move money around, you can't finagle, you can't do any shiesty stuff with the funds. But before you file, baby girl, you can do whatever. So my one
Why
friend,
you talking to the men?
Oh yeah, y'all too. Y'all too, gentlemen.
She said baby boy.
Yeah, baby boy. So one of my friends was dating this guy. He was loony freaking toony. She was married to him, and he had all type of CTE. It's like that brain was just running around in there like a hamster on a hamster wheel. Okay, just. And so what we did was we timed it, and we hit up. Oh, we set it off. I dressed up. I look like you. Oh my God, I dressed up like you. I dressed up like you. The two of us did. And then we hit Bank of America, Chase, PNC, and then this little bitty credit union where she had her stuff. And we took like 80% of what was in all of the accounts. We just took it out. Mm-hmm. And then she moved it wherever she wanted to put it, and then went to the divorce place, or then called up the divorce lawyer and was like, file it. And then they filed everything, 24 hours later. Mm-hmm. But we did that because I didn't trust that man and what he would do with the money if it was solely hers. And I was like, he was a breadwinner. He's cheating. He's doing all these terrible things. I think he was smoking a little crack. And I was like, I don't want him to smoke up all the funds, And she was like, well, I don't want to take 80%. I only want to take half. I was like, you don't have money for tampons. Take it all. I was like, you need at least enough money to get yourself through the next 6 to 9 months. Okay?
Yeah.
Because that's how long you had to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Fooling with this fool.
That makes sense.
Damn tampons.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
That's where they got the inspiration for the girl with the dragon tattoo movie.
She couldn't afford tampons?
No, the dress up and then go to the accounts and empty them.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. I watch that sometime.
Damn.
Hey, Simone.
Sorry, guys.
Simone, wait a minute.
What happened?
Because I gotta ask you this question.
Okay.
All right. How many times did you do stand-up comedy? Because you told us.
Only I think I've only done like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, you're funny, Simone.
You're about to need to give another try to that.
Yeah, you got to, Simone, because you need.
I'm gonna see you on that Netflix here pretty
soon. You need that one mic special like Mike Tyson, that type of thing.
Thanks.
All right, so a fight breakup. where a student dies in Kentucky. All right. Set this up for us, Simone. What happened in this situation?
So a young man at a high school in Kentucky was breaking up a fight between two other students when apparently he got injured or hurt in some type of way in the midst of doing so. He went home feeling sick and then passed away. His family is now trying to determine who they can press charges against, whether they're going to press charges against the school, the other two fighters, the teachers, and whoever else. What are your thoughts, Brian?
The starting point of this is definitely on the difference between trying to fill this thing out informally, going to the school, asking questions, and then actually filing a lawsuit. The most important piece of that is everything informal is all voluntary, meaning they could say, hey, go pound sand.
That's right.
And so you'll see a lot of these cases where out of the blue, a celebrity has a lawsuit that gets filed. They do it because the reality is in order for you to get documents, you have to have a lawsuit. Nobody has to give you things for free. And so your best step in a lot of cases, and that's why it always is better to have an attorney in an injury case or anything that happens, is you file the suit so that you get the documents produced so that you really know what's the value of your case by how egregious it is or how often this has happened. But if you simply say, hey, I'm going to contact a place and ask them, hey, can you give me the video? They won't. If you ask for the incident report,
What if
they
you do
won't.
the feds or something, or the police?
But they'll only do it in a criminal case. So if I show up and say, hey, the police are here, the police aren't going to be able to do anything. There's no crime going on.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, the starting point on all this is, especially with schools, is you have to file a suit almost right away because of the fact that whether the videos are being stored, whether the funds allow it to be stored for 30 days or whatever. But if you don't get that suit filed, so you get that information, you're going to be in the unknown. And what people, as soon as that incident happened, you know that the school was already contacted by whatever district defense counsel who's already making sure that they're defending and talking to say, what is the story that we're going to reframe this as?
Do you have to put a number attached to the suit, or you can just put it out there first?
So you can ultimately say, we're suing for, over $1 million, or you can say, except in government cases, you have to put a cap in certain government cases where you have to say, hey, 25 million. Because you can never go over that amount if you don't put it.
And that's the sad part here. So in Kentucky, like Texas, they have something that's called tort immunity. And this applies to school districts pretty much in every city and state. And what sucks is what that does is it caps how much you're entitled to, even if your child dies. I looked it up for Kentucky. In the state of Kentucky, it's like $200,000 for one incident or up to $350,000. So the most this family could get would be $350,000 even if they win. But what's worse is in a state, for example, in Texas, you can only sue a school district under two situations. And this is very important to understand. Just yesterday, my office got a call. One student hit this person's daughter on the head with a metal object. The daughter had been bullied by this person. The parent kept complaining to the school. Unfortunately, they can't sue the school for it. That's because in Texas, the only thing you can sue a school for is if your kid gets injured on a school bus, because it's an auto accident, or excessive discipline, meaning they paddled your kid or however they punished them was excessive. That's why in the state of Texas, you have police officers in school. Because if the police arrest your child or breaks up the fight or hits your child, whatever, that police has immunity in itself. So that protects them. In Kentucky, though, similarly, school district, you cannot sue the teachers for basically failing to supervise. You can't sue the teachers for that. And the school district is largely immune for that too. So again, it's unfortunate for the family. But if they can get an attorney to take the case, the most they'll get is about $200,000 to $300,000.
So let me just add one thing to this, things to consider. One, by filing the suit and getting information, sometimes you'll find out that the people that were involved, one, they may have rented the space. Two, there may be some contract in place that says someone else has obligations or contractual responsibility for ensuring it's safe. And so you won't find out about any of those until afterwards. So think of sometimes where people rent out churches, schools, they end up having these contractual liabilities, whereas you may think, okay, it's public, so I don't have anybody to sue. The other one that's really common is you may not be able to sue the school, but you can actually sue the kid and recover through the parents renters or homeowners policy if they have one.
That's it.
So just call Brian. Don't assume you don't have a case. Just call Brian. His office will let you know.
Got a quick question for y'all. So I had a friend in middle school. He went to a pool inside of an apartment. He was going for a swim, and the electrical cords in the pool where the lights are somehow broke and he got electrocuted and died. This was when he was one of the top athletes in Houston at the time. His name was Jarvis Hooks. I know that his family sued, I believe, and I'm not sure the dollar amount.
Apartment complex?
In an apartment complex. I don't know, because this was 96. So, I mean, I'm sure we have way more advanced technology and things that could apply now that we didn't have back then. But I think his family only got a couple $1 million for it. Is the apartment responsible for this death?
So you've got two people that can be responsible.
Okay.
One would be the apartment complex, and then the other would be the apartment managers. But depending on if you're in a condo as well, you can actually sue each individual condominium owner for actual liability.
Get him.
Yeah. So, but the end result is probably 1996. The policy limits that they probably had on that apartment complex was somewhere probably $3 to $5 million at most. And so they probably tendered the full amount of any available money, and that was it.
Or
That
what
would
if
be
it's
one you shouldn't even have to go to trial on that. You just give them the policy and go on about your business.
Or what if they were saying like the managers will say like, well, we've been trying to tell them that we needed maintenance over here and da-da-da, so it'll go up a step to whoever the owners are?
No. So the owners will ultimately always have that contractual, that actual ownership responsibility for owning that property. Contractually, though, then it brings in the management company. So generally, they both have their own insurance policy. But the key here, though, is the fact that once the insurance company says we're giving you all the money that we have, there's no more ability to go for anything else. If you do go for anything else, then you're going for their actual assets. And generally what they'll do at that point is file bankruptcy. And then now you don't have any potential claim.
And usually the settlement agreement will say, this is all the insurance we have. When you're signing the settle agreement, you're agreeing to take this and not go for a dime more. So that's why when we go back to the Cassie and Diddy situation, and there are people out there who were like, oh, she was just in it for the money. She should have went for more. You can't. When they offer you all there is to offer, there's nothing more to get. And so that's how you get a settlement in 24 hours. You get that when you're giving them all there is to give.
Wow. We mentioned this on the podcast, but Tracy Morgan, right? His accident, he was in a car accident. I think his friend died, right? And he was injured really bad, right? His settlement was crazy, right? Didn't he?
I think it was like 10 million.
Oh, it was 10 million? That's
might
it?
be.
It was more than that.
It was
30,
more than that. But
30.
Oh, you're right. Because it was
at the end of the
Walmart.
day, I would really say, though, it wasn't crazy. In fact, his actual injuries, when you do a comparison between him, it definitely has been a monumental difference in even his comedy, everything else.
Right. So I was just wondering, like, how in that situation, like, how does that get started? What's the limit? Is there a limitation on the money that he can receive or that he could have received from that accident?
The limit is whatever the insurance limits are all combined, all the different policies. So you're going to have, he was hit by an 18-wheeler from Walmart.
Yeah.
So for example, you're going to have the cab in the front is going to have one policy. And then they may have an umbrella. Then you're going to have the cab on the back. The trailer on the back is another $1 million. Okay. Because federal law, when you're doing across states, federal law mandates you have at least, I think it's gone up to $1 million. It was $750,000. You have to have at least $1 million. So it's going to be at least $1 million on the front, at least $1 million on the back. And then you're going to have what's called umbrella policies that go on top, that once they give you that first meal, each one, that umbrella could be an extra 10. It could be an extra 20. It just varies.
Right. And so if you look at some of these like big trucking companies, especially Walmart, usually the layers can be, the first $1 million is $1 million, then there could be $5 million, then $10 million, $25 million, a $50 million layer after that.
Damn.
And so at the end of it, you could have like Warner, has 150 million in coverage, but you're always limited by the amount that they actually have in coverage.
Okay.
And a lot of times they won't even tell you what the real amount that they have is.
So that's what I was getting.
If you end up, even with your normal car wrecks, people will oftentimes say, okay, we'll pay you the policy limits. We'll give you 30,000. So if you look up online and go, okay, minimum limit's 30,000, you say, okay. But then later they actually find out by hiring an attorney and you file the suit, they have to give you the policy. And then you find out actually they had 100,000 in coverage because they're just hoping you're not going to be smart enough to go ask for somebody to go and get the real information. And so we see that all the time where they're like, oh, I got the policy limits. And it's like, no, you didn't. They had more.
And they lie a lot of times too with your, like when you also can have underinsured motorist coverage, which basically that means, let's say you have $100,000 worth of injuries, but the person who hit you only has $30,000 of insurance. That means there's $70K that would go unpaid. That's when your underinsured motorists will come into play. Well, what happens in states like Texas is everybody by default has it. Everybody has uninsured and underinsured, unless you sign a piece of paper and you waive it. So whenever I have a new case, I call my client's insurance and I say, hey, I was calling to confirm that they have uninsured, underinsured motorists. And so often they'll be like, nope, they don't have it. I said, oh, send me the signed waiver. If that person has like had insurance with the same company for a long time, they can't find that waiver no more. They can't find it no more because that person back in the day used to manually sign it. Now people they electric sign it. I had a case because they couldn't find that signature. I got an extra $60,000. Ow! I ain't playing with these people.
So they've got to show you that your clients actually rejected it. Otherwise, state of Texas says you always have UAM coverage.
Yep.
But I want to just highlight one of the biggest things that comes up whenever you have a personal injury case is the adjuster, whoever you're initially working with. If you can go on, Craigslist or Monster, or not Craigslist, Indeed. Indeed, and you look up those initial entry adjuster positions, you can see that a lot of those adjusters literally have a $15,000 limit or a $10,000 limit in what their ability is that they can recover for you. So until you actually file suit, you're talking to somebody who only could pay you $10,000 or $15,000. And so ultimately you're going, oh, I have a big case. Why won't they offer me anything? Because you're talking to somebody who only has limited ability.
Authority. Yeah, they don't have the authority.
Until you actually file the suit, then it goes to the actual adjuster who's the litigation adjuster. And then they end up usually having the full coverage amount, or at least the ability to try to get you the full available limits. And so all the time people always come to us, and I know Simone's seen it before, we're like, well, I can handle it on my own. And ultimately, they spin their wheels for the next year until they finally realize, okay, this person's never going to make me a real offer. And they do it because you're talking to somebody who can never pay you what your case is worth.
Man, this is why it's so important to call your attorney. This is why it is very important to call your attorney, because the information that you guys provided us today, I think, going to help somebody.
Awesome.
And they should also call you guys. Brian, tell them what you're not limited to. What?
You're not limited to the amount you think it's worth. You're limited to how much money you can get from the available insurance. The only way you'll find that out is if you file the lawsuit and you get that number with an attorney.
And calling you as an attorney, you're not limited to what? Because I know that we usually go to you for personal injury. And right? So what are you?
So, I mean, we do everything from the employment cases, work injury cases. What we're really known for is the work injury cases. But if you have the brain injuries, trucking cases, premises cases, any type of injury, I mean, we handle all of those cases. And you may have an ongoing workers' comp case, but we're actually able to find a deeper pocket somewhere else that may be able to give you a lot more money than what you can get in workers' comp.
And Simone?
Yep, I'm Simone Redwine. You can reach me at 855-4-SIMONE with a Y. And I handle accident and injury cases across America.
Before we get out of here real quick, I seen a billboard from an attorney that was wild, okay? His name is Dick. And
Mr. Dick.
I mean, this was the most foul billboard.
What'd he say?
It's like I can't even remember, but I was driving. It was like,
Get some dick.
yeah, it was something.
Yeah.
But he's a lawyer or attorney.
It sticks. It works. It's like 555 dick. or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's mad wild.
I just got
gotta
hit.
Yeah,
Like, it gotta be a catch thing.
It's something
Just
that
got
was wild.
hit by dick.
Man, that's been episode. That's episode.
Thank y'all
what?
for letting me join you all.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Thank
a
you for
pleasure.
joining
Did you
us.
learn
Enjoyed
something,
it.
JC?
Yeah, this was
You enjoyed
good.
it?
Yeah. Well, this is another episode of CYA. We appreciate you guys. Subscribe, like, call Brian for any injury and everything else that he mentioned. And also, definitely, you can find Simone everywhere. She's everywhere yelling and behind green screens and everything.
That is
And
true.
so,
That's correct.
we out.